Hey, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Good. How about you guys?
We're doing fantastic. You know, we are so happy that you joined us.
All right. Happy to be here, man. I love watching you guys on YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we try our best to put smiles on people's faces, you know, bring some comedy, bring some, you know, music knowledge, you know, so.
Yeah.
And your music makes us smile too. So
and your
it's
music makes us smile too, yes.
Awesome, man. I'm very happy to hear that.
So, introduce yourself and what bands you have played in and are in now.
So my name is AHRUE LUSTER. My career started. I started my career in Machinehead. Before that, I was in like local bands, like thrash bands. Some people might know of a band called the Horde of Torment. It was like Bay Area thrash metal. After that, I was in Machinehead for about 4 years, and then I left Machinehead, and about a year later, I joined NIÑO, and I was in NIñO for about 17 years.
Wow.
And then, that ended kind of like on a bad note, and so three of us from NIñO started Lions at the Gate with Stephen Brewer, our bass player. He was actually very instrumental in the beginning of the band as well.
So we're saying the other band's name. Good to know.
Yeah, we try not to mention past names just in case there are bad vibes, but
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna not say a name of a band that I was in.
no, some people don't like that.
I hear you. Some people are weird about that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, you know, you growing up, you probably were in high school when you got into your first bands.
Yeah. I was a junior in high school, probably about 16. It was a cover band. We were called Strychnine, and we played like Exodus, Slayer covers, Metallica, stuff like that. And then we started writing originals, and that eventually became a band called Pestilence, which evolved into the Horde of Torment. And then we started in Vegas. The band started in Vegas. And at the time, it was like that was the height of the Bay Area thrash metal scene. So we kind of thought, like, you know, if we want to make it, we got to go to the center of it. So we moved to the Bay Area, and that's where I met like Rob Flynn from Violence and a lot of the other guys from, you know, all those classic Bay Area thrash bands.
So what led to you getting into Machinehead?
I had known Rob way before he started Machinehead. He was in a band called Violence.
Yeah, it's a good band.
Yeah, we used to play with them a lot. And he was really good friends with the drummer of my band at the time, so he would be at our house just hanging out drinking, you know, so we would just hang out together. And when they were looking for a guitar player after Logan had left, he actually had somebody a mutual friend approach me and asked me if I wanted to try out. I wasn't even really I was in another band at the time called Man Made God, which I forgot to mention. I was in that band, and that was with three of the members from Forbidden, and a different singer. But I was in that band at the time, and I ended up trying out. It took me a couple days to decide that that's what I wanted to do, and after I tried out, it was like that was the beginning.
Well, that's crazy because I'm in the same era. I grew up in the thrash era, and the bands that you're naming are bands that I used to listen to. They were big when I was in high school. I was 16 years old, and I was thrashing to them. I had the cassette tapes and everything. Yeah. And you just happened to be in the right place. You were born in the right place, right time, because that's, like you said, San Francisco is huge, right? That's where Metallica came from, and you know, yeah. I think Anthrax had gone to San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they stayed in New York, but I know that Metallica had gone to New York for a while.
Yes, and you were that era, or you were a little later than that?
A little bit later than that. It was after like Metallica had gotten big. They were on the Black album.
Oh yeah, that's way later.
Yeah.
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 So when you said you were in Il Nino for 17 years, that was a big band. So what were name some of the biggest shows you played?
We played some pretty big festivals. Like we played this festival in Mexico City at a soccer stadium, and it was called Viva Latino, and we were like we weren't the headliner, but I think there was one band after us, but it was definitely like huge. There was about 50,000-60,000 people. It was like a soccer stadium, and it was almost filled to capacity. I don't know. There's a lot of big festivals we played around Europe. You know, we played all the European festivals with countless bands, like probably any band I could think of. Even like, I mean, we played with like, oh, well, in Machinehead, we played a lot of them as well. So like, I played from everybody from like Willie Nelson to like Behemoth.
Wow. So when you were on stage, you know, like before you go on stage, what is one of your biggest rituals that you do before you get on stage?
We listen to music, and a lot of times it's music that inspired us. I don't know. I guess I go through phases. Like the last couple tours we were doing with El Nino, it's like we would start maybe about 3 hours before the show. We would start the music, and we'd start with like mellow music, and then gradually as the time to the show gets closer and closer, we'd start playing heavier and heavier music until like right before we went on, we were playing like super brutal, you know, extreme metal and death metal and black metal and things like that.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, so
So how do bands like eat and sleep on tour? What's your schedule?
Well, it's crazy because like every band's different. Like I actually did a tour with Nonpoint as like a fill-in guitar player, and I was used to doing everything, you know, the way that Il Nino did it. And the way we did it in Il Nino, it's like we wouldn't sound check until like 5 or 6 p.m. And a lot of the guys, maybe some of the guys, not a lot of them, but no, most people weren't. Most of the band wasn't awake at noon. And then gradually people would start waking up around noon, 1 o'clock. And there's like 1 or 2 people that would wake up at like 5 o'clock still. And I thought that was just the norm until I toured with Nonpoint. And those guys, like I'd wake up at noon, and in El Nino, I'd be the first one up at noon. I was like, when I'd get up at noon on the Nonpoint bus, I was like the last one up. Everybody was already up doing stuff, and sound check was about to happen. So I was like, wow, this is like how an organized band does it.
yeah, that's a more responsible band, 100%.
Yeah.
You guys did stretches in the morning. You drink your cup of coffee.
Yeah, they had like a social media person out with them, so it's like rolling out of bed, you had to like get ready to have a camera in your face at any time. So
wow.
What are you still doing up at sleep at 12 o'clock?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what is on a tour, what is your favorite part?
The shows, definitely.
So
I love, I mean, that's what we, you know, that's one of my favorite parts out of life in general. So that's why we all do it. And it's the connecting with the crowd and all the emotion that happens during a show. And I don't know, to me, that's the highlight of it all.
So, but I'm sure you still have good times and good stories about before the show, you know, where you meet the other bands, you hang out, you drink a couple beers, or does that happen after?
Usually after. I mean, we would do like we called it a pregame, and it was like we would have maybe a couple, 1 or 2 drinks before the show. Then sometimes a couple during the show, but like never like drinking during the day before a show or anything like that. Because that just kind of burns you out. But after the show, definitely there was a lot of partying going on at different periods in my life. And it all kind of depended on, you know, I've been touring for like over 20 years. So it's like it kind of depended on what I was going through at the time. Like if I was going through some harsh stuff, then I was probably drinking a lot,
Yeah,
after shows.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have a story that sticks out in all your 20 years of touring? Is there one that you tell at every party?
I don't know if there's one. There's a lot of highlights and for different reasons too. Like some are really cool experiences, like playing like some at the time maybe they don't seem so cool, but when you look back on it, it was cool. Like we played we were headlining a show in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it was the last show of this Brazilian tour we were doing. And it's whenever you play in South America, you got to be really careful because sometimes the promoters try to stiff you.
Okay.
And it was the last show, and we're like, all right, where's the money? And they're like, it's on, it's about to go into the bank, and it got all the way down to the wire. Like we were about to go on stage, and we're waiting for the wire transfer to happen of like the money for the whole tour, which was a lot of money, and it didn't go in. So we kept delaying the show like 15 minutes, half an hour. And finally, we realized that they were ripping us off.
No kidding.
So, yeah. But the kids were there, and they wanted to see a show, and a lot of them had paid a lot of money to see it. And we just went out there and did it. We knew we weren't going to get paid, but we just did it. And it was an amazing show.
It was probably the best show you ever played.
Yeah, one of them.
It's that raw metal anger coming. Yeah,
you had real anger at that show.
Yeah, we definitely had some real anger, but it, like just seeing the smiling faces and everything made it all worthwhile.
You know what? Sometimes you got to, the money is nice, but you got to remember sometimes you got to go back to your roots, and it's it's where you begin, the love. The love.
Yeah,
for the music.
Exactly. And that's not the first time that's happened either. That was the biggest time, but that's happened in Eastern Europe as well. Like one time we played a show in Bulgaria, the same thing. We knew we weren't getting paid, but we just did it,
So, all right, let's switch gears now. Let's talk about your brand new band, Lions at the Gate. You want to give us a little biography about
You haven't
that?
said their name yet.
Lions at the Gate. Yeah, that was mainly like, because with El Nino, it got down to like it was a court battle. We were battling for the name. Diego, Christian, and I were trying to win the name, and it got to a point where we didn't have the resources to continue. After that, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And then, like I was going through a lot of other personal stuff at the time, and Diego just kind of called me. He's like, "Hey, bro, we're making a record in a month." I'm like, "Wait a minute! I don't know. I didn't sign up for this."
Yeah.
And then I kind of thought about it. Well, I told him okay, but in my head I was like, "Wait, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on."
What am I doing? Yeah.
And then I kind of just said, you know what, man, I'm going to try it out. And, because you got to just try it and see how it feels. And, so I made the effort. I went out there and it was actually like such a awesome vibe. The producer that they like, Steven and Diego had already decided to work on this producer named Kyle Odell.
Okay.
And, I've worked with some amazing producers that have done some of the, most memorable records that most people have, like, people that have worked with like Pantera, Korn, Slipknot, Disturbed. But out of, I would say like out of all of those producers that I've worked with even with like platinum albums and everything, I had a better time, and I thought Kyle was a better producer.
All right, good. So, what? It's good to have a good producer, because I've heard some albums that just were horrible. And the band is amazing, and it's like, oh my God, you don't got the right producer, and vice versa. There's bands that are okay, and they sound amazing with a good producer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a really good chemistry, and like I want to always. I think we all always want to work with Kyle. He's amazing. He's almost like a sixth member of the band to us, and it was awesome working with him.
Well, it must have been easy for you to jump into this band because you already knew some of the members.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, yeah, I mean, I had been playing with Christian for 17 years, and Diego for 10 years. So, and Diego was pretty much my best friend in the El Niño camp when we were in El Niño. So like I would hang out with him, and not really the other guys as much. Well, so that part was easy.
Did you guys what do you do now since you're in different states? Do you send riffs back and forth?
Yeah, that's how it always was. Like in El Niño, it was like there was one guy lived in Texas, one guy lived in New York, one guy lived in LA, one guy lived in Puerto Rico, and I lived in Denver, and so it was always like that. So we've been doing it that way for the past 15 years at least. So okay. Yeah, we just we write on our own, and then we kind of all come together and just pool our ideas together, and then Kyle just helps us sort through them, and it was like this was the easiest process of doing a record that I've probably ever been a part of. Like the whole record was done in 20 days, and it almost feels like I feel guilty that it was so easy, like because I'm so used to it being a painful experience.
So what's the future for the band? When's the record? You got new videos coming out? You going on tour? What's the future look like?
We're kind of building it. We're talking to some people now, talking to labels and stuff like that. We don't have a release date, but we have the record finished, and we've had it finished for a while. We have a video coming out very soon. I don't know what the release date on it is, but it's like probably within the next week or so, and that's called Bed of Nails. And then after that, we're coming out with another one that's with a special guest on it. I can't say who it is, but it's my favorite song on the record, actually.
Come on, say who it is. Do it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You want to ask that question?
Sure. Let's get controversial. Do you guys disagree on each other on how you should write your music at all?
We've not so much in this band. Like the funny thing is, Christian and I have butted heads a lot while we were in El Niño, but I think this is a fresh start for both of us, and like we kind of put aside any of our past differences, and we have a new attitude, and I think we're trying to understand and listen to each other better and just communicate better. And for the most part, this is like the easiest experience as far as writing and everything goes that I've ever experienced in any band.
So you mean you matured?
Yeah. I mean, we matured. We were already pretty mature. I think it has more to do with like now this is ours, as opposed to it being this. I mean, because he was one of the original members of El Niño, so it's like a lot of times I didn't like what was going on, and I kind of lumped him into that group. But now I guess it's a different dynamic, I think.
I can imagine how much stress probably came with the old dynamic and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes, like in the old band, it's just like I was so unhappy with the way that things were run and managed that I just didn't care.
That's not good.
That's what gets you to sleep till 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you meet the rest of the guys in your band?
We found Steven. I think Steven and Diego and Christian all met at a Cradle of Filth show.
Yep.
And that's when they first started talking. And I met Steven when I came in to do the record. But we had a drummer lined up, that was also in a big band that everybody knows, but at the last minute he kind of flaked out, and we're kind of happy he did, because I don't think it would have worked out anyways. But so the very next day we're like, because we already had plans for doing the what the fuck is our first single? Not Even Human.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm bad with song names.
It's
no matter,
okay.
even with my own band or whoever's band. But so it was like a couple weeks before we were supposed to film the video, and our drummer bailed out. So my friend said, "Hey, check out this drummer on YouTube." And it was like, I forget who it was, but I kind of just went down a YouTube rabbit hole, and then I came across Vern, and I was like, man, this guy's fucking badass. So the next day I just kind of reached out to him. Like, I kind of did some research on him and found that I found a way to get a hold of him. And then I think it was through Instagram. And I think I Instagrammed him or Facebooked him or something like that.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he was down to, like, come play with us.
Throw some beats, yeah.
Yeah, and he was, so.
Yeah, he's an amazing drummer. We actually did a reaction to one of his playthroughs, and yeah, he's phenomenal. The whole band.
Oh yeah. I think I watched every one of your videos on us, plus a couple more on other people as well.
Oh, thank you.
That
We
means a lot.
appreciate that.
That's
Means a lot.
appreciated.
Yeah, we love them.
Yeah, that's great.
My girlfriend Renee and I will like be up in bed watching your guys' videos.
That's awesome. Tell her we said thank you also.
All right, I will.
So now we got, a lot of musicians are coming up. They want to get into the business. What would you say to them that, what to look out for, what to strive for, what to expect?
As far as, like, what to look out for, like, I mean, I know, it's like I made a lot of mistakes as a young musician. One of them is just like trusting the business side to someone else. And, it's like, I've never wanted, it's like I love music, and I love playing music, and I love performing music. And the business side is just kind of like something that has to go along with it, that I never really, had a passion for. So it's like, even though, you may, if you're that type of person, you still gotta like make sure you know everything that's going on, because if you think you can trust someone else to it, more than 9 out of 10 times, if, like, you tell someone to watch the cookie jar and no one's around, they're gonna grab a cookie or a couple.
Or a couple, exactly.
So that would be lesson 1. Lesson 2 is, like, while you're doing music, I mean, use it as a platform to do other things that can, like, generate income. And I mean, I come from a day where, the music industry had a lot more money in it, so it was like you could make a lot more money doing music. But nowadays, some of the biggest bands and some of the best musicians in the world can't survive just on music alone. They have to do, somehow, like, use their platform to create income in other ways. So that.
Yeah, YouTube and TikTok are really good for that these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instagram, you're not making anything, but TikTok and YouTube are the ones that really make the money.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So anything else you... Go ahead.
Yeah, buy property early.
Yeah, buy a couple pieces of land.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. So,
yeah.
You want to plug anything before we say goodbye?
Just, like, this band, everybody in this band feels it's, like, the best thing we've ever done. And we got stuff coming out. We got a video coming out very soon, Bed of Nails. Then we have another video coming out right after that. There's we're things are about to heat up, so keep an eye out.
That's awesome.
You'll see a reaction from us, probably.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do a reaction to Bed of Nails. That's awesome.
I can't wait to see it.
All
right, we're gonna say our outro now, and we need you in it. So,
all right.
Everyone, remember to hit that like, subscribe button, and go support Lions at the Gate, because this band is absolutely amazing. You can tell there's heart and soul put into their music. And
Hell yeah.
ask us, request who else you'd want to see on the channel. We'll try and get them. And press the bell.
Right on, man. Thank you so much about that. I didn't mean to.
You're good.
No,
You're good.
don't worry about it.
But let's see, who would I like to see on here? Behemoth.
Well, listen, we need your help. We need your help because I can only private message so many people. You know, I throw out the bait, and if we get them, you know, then it's a score for us. But it's so hard. A lot of people don't look at their private messages. Yeah. I mean,
I hear that. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, they were like me and Diego love. I mean, that's kind of was one of our favorite warm up songs.
All right, good. We're definitely gonna check them out and what
bands.
are our reactions then for sure.
All right, cool.
And press the bell next subscribe button to get notified
Every time
we upload a video. I'm Son.
And I'm Father. And you are?
AHRUE LUSTER.
Rock on!